Welcome to the Emergency Management Do One Thing personal video training series. My name is Quentin Graham. As an emergency manager, it is our goal to provide continuous training towards making a disaster resilient installation. What this means is that as an installation team, we respond together to quickly save lives, mitigate the hazard, and return to normal operations. Because we, the installations, are the backbone for the warfighter. This series focuses on completing one thing each month to become more prepared. We use the Do One Thing program. Now, for the next essential topic, your instructor.
Hi, this is Quentin Graham again with Do One Thing for Sea Army Depot, and I'm your emergency manager here. So for this month, it's July, Family Communications. Small steps to prepare your community for emergencies. So, communication. Phones. We're all used to staying in touch with our cell phones, internet, and email, but they might not be available in a disaster. So looking at our Do One Thing calendar, we're in the month of July, and we're going to talk about family communications. So you can look at the other months if you need to reference those and help stay in check with Do One Thing. So why do one thing? There may be many people who count on you every day. When a disaster happens, you may not be with them. There are things you can do now to make sure they'll be better prepared in a disaster, even if you can't be with them. Taking small steps now can help you be prepared, even if you are not at home when disaster strikes. Choose one thing to do this month. Make sure you can use your cell phone if the power goes out. Plan how your family will stay in touch during a disaster. Program emergency numbers into your family's cell phones. Option number 1. Make sure that your phone will keep working if the power goes out. So you can do that by, if you use a cell phone, get a car charger for your phone or a battery pack backup, which are really awesome, and I've used those a few times in emergencies. If your phones have text messaging, make sure everyone in your family knows how to use it. Cell phone towers may be overloaded in a community emergency, but text messages often get through when calls don't. That's because if you can imagine, you have a tin can and you have a string. So when you're making a phone call, you have to have basically that string taut so you can actually talk on that line. But when you use a text message, it's like putting a message on a rock and throwing it at the other individual. I don't recommend that, but you can kind of see the difference between a text message and a phone call. So you get multiple people talking on that tin can with a string between it, and it sounds all garbled. And that's what happens during an emergency. That's why text messages are so much more useful. So if you have a landline phone, landline phones will still work when the power goes out, unless they have a cordless handset. If you use a cordless phone, make sure you have a phone with a cord that has a power backup. And how those lines work is they have a low voltage power on landline type phones. So something that's important. Remember, never call 911 to get information about what is going on in an emergency. Dispatchers have a lot of stuff that they need to get done and trying to take care of the community. And they already have a high call volume because of certain things that are going on within that community. So only call 911 if you need help. Option 2. Make a plan to make sure your family can stay in touch in a disaster. Important phone numbers. Write or print a list of important numbers so that you'll have them in your cell phone if your cell phone is lost or damaged. Most of us don't memorize phone numbers anymore because it's in our phone. So it's a good idea to keep an emergency contact card in your purse or wallet and one in your emergency kit. And make sure everyone in your family has one. So outside the area contact. If local lines are busy, long-distance calls will often still go through. Choose an emergency contact outside of the area that your loved ones know to call and check in with. And that means somebody that's within a different state. Make sure their number is on your printed emergency contact list. Social media. Many social media sites will help families connect after a disaster. American Red Cross, which is Safe and Well, Google, which is Person Finder, and Facebook utilizes Safety Check. Find out if one of those sites will work for you and let family members know which one to check if you're separated in a disaster. Option number 3. Program emergency information into everyone's phone. So, head it with ICE, ICE, in case of emergency. Make an entry in your cell phone named ICE with the phone number of your emergency contact. If you are unconscious or unable to provide information, responders will know at that point who to call. Because this is basically across the United States, they all know to look for ICE, ICE. If you keep your phone password protected, you won't be able to use ICE. An emergency contact card in your wallet is another way to let responders know who to contact. I've also seen where they've had a bracelet or a necklace or something of that sort which has emergency contact on it. Emergency numbers. Program your outside of the area contacts number in your family members' cell phones. Include other important numbers such as doctors, schools, and pharmacies as well. Make sure that phone numbers are kept up to date. Not knowing if loved ones are safe is one of the biggest sources of stress in a disaster. I bet you can imagine that. Plan ahead to stay in touch. And thank you for our topic for this month. Next month, we're going to be discussing August. Get involved. Connecting neighborhoods and communities are better able to withstand and recover from disasters. It's called resiliency. Many people want to help in a disaster. Find out what you can do now to be ready when you're needed in your community. For more information, you can contact myself, Quentin Graham, Sierra Army Depot Emergency Manager, or Do One Thing at www.doonething.com.